Hold up. What damn armor?
Don't swear. We're werewolves.
Not
What are we?
Werewolves, not swirls.
The Twilight books are a series of YA novels about how sex should be for making babies, so naturally, its fan base wanted to savagely boink both the vampires with Hitler Youth vibes and the werewolves with, nipples. And speaking of nipples, why does Jacob always have to be shirtless?
It wasn't for your benefit, trust me.
The movie gives no clear explanation for why the woods of Washington state often glisten with the professionally waxed chests of the Quileute tribe, but actually, there is an in-universe justification for them nips. It's because they're poor, obviously. Stupid butt face. According to the creators, when werewolves are teenagers, they're way worse at controlling their erections. Also werewolf transformations. Whenever a werewolf sees a good look in Shiba Inu, whatever clothes they're wearing gets shredded in the very scientific anamorphing process. And like my grandma Dolores always used to say, you can't rip what you don't wear. According to director Chris Weitz, the Quileute don't make a lot of money. See, werewolves aren't just sexy, they're also economical. And besides, they need to save every cent for those weekly trips to the waxing salon. Have I mentioned how smooth they are? Weitz also claimed werewolves have a higher average body temperature than normal humans, 108.9 degrees Fahrenheit or like 69 degrees Kelvin, which explains how they can handle the Pacific Northwest cold without a thick coat of hair around the old areolas. Obviously, the main reason for the shirtlessness is to see some Shark Boy abs, but countering the criticisms of gratuitous nudity with "they can't afford shirts, you classist jerks," is actually fairly clever for the Twilight franchise. Not clever enough to also cover why they all wear jorts, but it's a sliding scale. Also, not nearly clever enough to explain how nobody has caught on to Edward or thrown him in jail for like all of eternity. Because while back in the 1300s, it would have been super easy for a vampire to hide their immortality with each passing year, the likelihood that we have shiny immortal beings walking among us decreases. Not just because advanced technology makes it easier to mass produce silver bullets and sacred garlic, but also because it takes so much paperwork to be a human. Everyone is massively on the grid, especially, let's say, a pale, wealthy, malnourished teenage sex vampire like Edward Cullen. And speaking of being on the grid, I couldn't think of a less subtle cover than attending the same high school for 7 years in a row. How does he even manage that? Did he make it all the way to graduation and then just ask to do it again? The teachers would definitely remember a shiny ghost lad showing up at freshman orientation just a couple months after he graduated. Come on, Edward. There's nothing you'd rather be doing with all your fun immortality than learning about the Ottoman Empire for the third time? And even if he can counterfeit 100 birth certificates, how is he gonna hide his wealth? The books say Edward resets his life by bequeathing his fortune to himself, which, duh, why didn't I think of that? There's definitely not years of red tape you need to cut through to get that cash. It would be so much easier for Edward to eat every estate lawyer in the world, buy a wig, and pretend he found a bag of money on the ground. And like, how do werewolves and vampires manage to run around murdering people, performing feats of superhuman strength, and impregnating high schoolers without a single red flag? I mean, Bella finds out right away, and she's not exactly Sherlock Holmes. The government might not believe in vampires per se, but the convoluted paper trail, unexplained money, constant movement, and proximity to weird crime still suggest they're fugitive spies, terrorists, or something much worse, like a life coach. Ugh. Somebody is gonna rat their asses out eventually. And like my grandma always said, you can only suck so many people dry before somebody discovers the heads in your freezer. I think she was talking about Jeffrey Dahmer, but it still works in this scenario.